Hat makers were routinely exposed to mercury in their workplaces. To make felt hats, they bathed animal fur in an orange-coloured solution of mercury nitrate.
There was a table set out under
This process, called carroting, after the typical colour of the fur being treated, helped make the stiff hairs more pliant, thereby producing a superior felt
resting their elbows on it and talking over
Felt
its
could
head.
then be manipulated
Very
with steam
uncomfortable
to
for the
make
dormouse,
finished
thought
hats
Alice.
any desired
Only
shape
as it's asleep, I
size.
suppose it doesn't mind. The table was a large one, but the three were all crowded together at one corner of it.
In the small but
No
still
room, no
confined
room!
hat-making
The Hatter cried when they saw Alice coming.
not to inhale
There's
the
plenty of
mercury
room, said Alice indignantly, and she sat down in a large armchair at one end of the table.
toxic levels.
Have some wine, the March Hare said in an encouraging tone. Alice looked all round the table, but there was nothing on it but tea. I don't see any wine.
Mercury-poisoned hatters stumbled
There
through
isn't
the
any.
streets of 18th century Europe and North
And it wasn't
America.
very civil of you to offer
Many
it.
had slurred speech and other behaviours that could easily be mistaken for drunkenness. Doctors reported quarter-sized holes in the brains of the most severely afflicted of these unfortunates. Modern-day studies have established that continuous exposure to even low levels of mercury can produce nervous disorders, odd behaviours, and actual symptoms of dementia.
It's very rude.
Mercury can
On
also
hearing this, the
irritate the
Hatter
skin
opened his
and cause
eyes very
damage to
wide,
the
but all he said was, "Why is a raven like a writing desk?"
young children.
Come, we shall have some fun now, thought Alice. I'm glad they've begun asking riddles.
Mercury in
I believe I can guess that, she added
the
aloud.
answer to that question is
Do you
far
mean
stranger
that you
than
think
the
you can
notions
find out the
proposed by
answer
Mad
to it?
Hatter or his Tea Party compatriots, the Dormouse and the March Hare. The ancient Turks used camel's urine to accelerate the process of softening camel hair to make felt. The Crusaders brought this technology to Western Europe, where French hatters refined it further on the pelts of rabbits, rats and other small animals. Lacking urine from camels, French craftsmen sought other sources. They soon realised the best suppliers of urine were the felt makers
It's the same
themselves.
thing as I get what I like.
After one felt maker was treated for syphilis, his urine
seems
proved
to
far
be talking
superior
in
to the
sleep.
urine of other felt
What I
makers.
breathe when I sleep
The cure
is
for
the same thing as I sleep when I breathe.
It is the same thing with you, said the Hatter. And here the conversation dropped, and the party sat silent for a minute, while Alice thought over all she could remember about ravens and writing desks, which wasn't much. The Hatter was the first to break the silence. What day of the month is it? He said, turning to Alice. He had taken his
The
watch out of
technique
his
known as secretage stayed with them until 1685, when French Protestants, the Huguenots, were forced to leave their homeland. These emigrants carried les secrets to England, which would reign as the centre for hat
I
making for
told
the
you
next
butter
4
wouldn't suit
decades.
the works.
Hatters in the American colonies also enjoyed a brisk business.
It was the best.
In 1662, the Virginia Assembly ordered 10 pounds of tobacco.
Yes, but some crumbs must have got in as well, the Hatter grumbled. You shouldn't have put it in with a bread knife. The March Hare
A nearby park where children played had levels of 25,000 parts per billion. Sediments in Danbury still
to say in his first remark. It was the best butter, you know. Alice had been looking over his shoulder with some curiosity. What a funny watch, she remarked.
Sediments in Danbury
It tells the day of the month and doesn't tell what
hotels with
o'clock.
mercuric residue that had washed from
Why
the
should
land
it?
long ago. During the historic high point of the industry, the steam-saturated environment of the felt-making facilities carried mercury as far as 1/4 mile away.
It's just the
Severe
case of
flooding in the
mine.
1950s and 1960s
Alice
also
was dreadfully puzzled. The Hatter's remark seemed to have no sort of meaning in it, and yet it was certainly English. I don't quite understand you, she said as politely as she could. But the Dormouse is asleep again, said the Hatter.